What's up guys, Volt here bringing you a brand new Fast and Furious car remake. In today's remake I am bringing you the 2010 BMW E60 M5 from Fast and Furious 6. Now this car was requested I think a few times, so I'm going to actually put those on screen if I actually find any of them. If I don't, then you're just going to hear me ramble on for a few seconds just as I turn. But this car is actually a lot different than what you think. Now in the movie it appeared black because the color filter on it was really dark, and the cars were actually like a really dark blue, and you'll kind of see that in the actual like car right now as they kind of spin. It changes from like a really dark black to like a blue, and in the light it's like a blue, you can actually see the blue, and in the dark it's actually a black. It's a really cool color combination. It's a custom crew color, but I also do have a regular LSC color as well that you can go for if you want to do it that way. So let's go and start off with the build as we always do, and we're going to start with the base price. So you want to go to the internet, you want to go to the Travel and Transport website, you want to go down to the Legendary Motorworks website, you want to go up and sort by two-door, then you want to go up and sort by price, then you want to go down and you want to find yourself the Übermacht Cypher, part of the Los Santos Tuners update. Now, if you do not have the trade price, I'll put the original price, which is $1,550,000 right about in this area here. But if you do have the trade price, which I believe you actually unlock it through the Los Santos car meet location, then, by increasing your rep, then you're going to be paying $1,162,500. A decent price, and you actually make a decent few builds out of this as well. Not just Fast and Furious, but other builds like Need for Speed. So anyways, once you have your car and you have your color, meet us at Los Santos car meet location, as we are right now. I think the car turned out really nice. There is a few things I wish it could be a little bit better. I mean, it's not an M5, it's actually an M2, but I don't really know the difference per se. I'm not 100% like a car guru. I just know how to make cars look kind of how they are portrayed in a movie, a game, or anywhere pretty much, you know me. That's why I say it. But we're gonna go in and customize the beauty. As we pull in the Übermacht Cyphers in the sports category, I guess that makes sense. I would think it'd be more like a, I don't know, luxury type car, but I guess it's not as luxurious as you would expect. So as I go into all my builds, I go over the overall look, the visual appearance, and the basic design of the car and how it's portrayed in a movie, game, or anywhere else in general itself. Anything I don't go over is completely up to you. I just put a few staples in on my build. If you want to recreate my build or take some things away from my build, you're more than welcome to. And without further ado, let's get into the build. So to start things off, you want to go to bumpers, you want to go to front bumper, and you want to put the stock bumper on. Just keep it that way because it had like a kind of like a three opening, like a three hold front bumper right here, as you can see. Again, I'll be posting pictures, and the best one you can go for is that. It didn't have no splitters or anything, so just keep it nice and stock. From there, move on to the rear bumpers. You want to go with the primary GT bumper. Now, I think this one fits the best. You could possibly also go with the kind of stock bumper if you don't really want to spend anything on it. The back bumper, we can't get exactly perfect, but I think the best thing you could do, since it has like an opening right in the middle, is actually do the primary GT bumper. It just kind of adds the color on there, and you can't really get rid of the carbon at all. As you used to say, it's literally on there the entire time. So the best thing I could say is just go with the primary GT bumper, in my personal opinion. From there, move on to the chassis. You want to go to the arch covers, and you want to just keep them stock. It didn't have no kind of like extended arches or anything, and it definitely were bolt on, so I would just definitely keep them stock. From there, move on to the rear diffuser. I went with the primary diffuser. Main reason for this is because like the hole in the back of the bumper is kind of weird looking. I'm not sure if they try to make a certain car look like a different car. Like maybe they try to make a different model of a BMW look like the M5, the E60 one. So I honestly don't know, but I think the primary diffuser really fits really well because it kind of gives that middle type look to it, like that little hole I'm actually going to show a picture of right now, and you can kind of see that. I'm circling it, and I think it just fits really well. Plus it also is the primary color of the actual bumper, since you can't get rid of anything on the carbon part, as you can see. So yeah, the primary diffuser is my best option for that. From there, move on to the engine. You want to go to the engine block, and you want to just keep that stock. It had that nice big engine cover, like the actual engine how it was, is like this, and it just fits really well. All the other ones are just kind of exposed and a lot smaller, and I'm not sure if it's a cover or if it's the actual engine itself, but I mean the stock engine piece is actually, the stock engine block is actually the best option. From there, we move on to the fittings. I went with the MK2 Rally brace bar. Now, the main reason for this is because the engine actually had kind of like, a brace bar like this, and this is about the closest one you're going to get in game. I think it is relatively close to the actual one in real life that was actually on the car. So again, MK2 Rally brace bar, my best option for the fitting part. From there, move on to the exhaust. I went with the stock exhaust. It was a nice chrome tipped exhaust. They weren't really anything fancy. Unfortunately, they are cut off, as you can see here, and there's also singles. But the ones the actual car had were kind of like rounded off. They're not really like sliced up or angled, as you can see in these. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a... There, so you can see the exhaust there. So the best thing I could say is just go with the stock exhaust. From there, move on to the grill. I went with the shark grill because you want to have that front mean looking bumper, kind of like how the BMW actually was. And I think it fits really nicely. I know it was kind of split down the middle in two pieces, but unfortunately there's no option to actually do that. And again, I just think that the shark grill kind of gives that representation of the actual front of the BMW. But I mean, it's about the closest thing you're going to get. So yeah, the shark grill, best option. From there, move on to the headlights. You just want to keep them stock. I definitely wouldn't change them or add any kind of tint to them. They were just pretty much basic glass, I guess, you know, so there you go. From there, move on to the hood, and we go to the hood catches. You want to go with none. I didn't see any hood catches on it. For the most part, the car was basically, I want to say stock, but there was a few modifications done to it. But yeah, for the hood catches, I'll definitely just go with none. From there, move on to the hood. I went with the smooth hood. The main primary stock hood is actually, it has like a little bulge there, and you don't want that. You want it to be nice and smooth, nice and clean, nice and sleek, and the smooth hood is just the best option for the build. From there, we move on to the interior. You want to go to steering wheels, and you just want to keep that stock. Again, pretty much the interior was going to be pretty much, for the most part, stock. So stock steering wheel. From there, we move on to the dash. You just want to keep that stock as well. Again, for the most part, the interior wise was pretty much stock. From there, move on to the dials. Unfortunately, it didn't have any kind of like racing dials or anything, so I definitely would just go with the stock dials. That was a bit weird. I can see my teeth and everything. So yeah, I'll definitely just go with the stock dials. From there, we move on to the doors. You just want to go to the stock doors. Again, pretty much a stock car interior for the most part. After that, move on to the interior type. You just want to go with the stock interior. You don't want to go with a race or like a street interior type deal. It definitely wasn't stripped out or like kind of modified like that. It was just pretty much a bare bone stock BMW M5. Although I guess it wasn't an M5. I don't really know exactly. I'm just going by what the information I know is. Like, it's supposed to be an M5 in the movie, but I don't know what it is in real life. So yeah, anyways, just go with the stock interior. After that, move on to the seats. Now, they did have a kind of like racing bucket seats in it, so I would definitely either go with the painted bucket seats, which again, in my personal opinion, are the best and the cheapest. They also kind of match with the blue, as you can see. Or if you want to go with a little bit more of a expensive option, a little bit more, not too much, the carbon bucket seats are another good option. Blue and red also mix really well, but I think blue and green just kind of fits a little bit better, my personal opinion. From there, we move on to the roll cage. I went with the primary roll cage. The main reason for this is because it pretty much fits the build. Now, the primary roll cage, it like has a back part to it, as you can see here, and then it kind of feeds down into the front. Again, I'll be posting pictures of the actual roll cage, and I believe it was actually in like a, I want to say like a black color, not this blue. But unfortunately, in order to have it, you know, actual roll cage, you need to have the primary color, because pretty much the primary and the secondary color are going to be the same color. So save money and just go with the primary roll cage, in my personal opinion. From there, move on to the lights. You want to go to headlights, and you just want to keep them stock. I don't think you really need to add the white lights. They're a little bit too bright. The stock lights are just kind of like a dumbed down white version. So I would definitely just go with the stock lights. I think they work really well, and they just kind of fit a little bit better than the white lights, in my personal opinion. And you save money in the long run too. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. So yeah, stock lights for the win. From there, move on to the neon kits. You want to go to neon layout, and you just want to go with none, because it didn't have any neon that I noticed on any of the cars. I mean, Dom's entire team, it was Dom, Brian, Han, Giselle, Roman, Tej. They all had cars, and I didn't see neon on any of them. So yeah, I would just go with none. From there, move on to the livery. You just want to go with none. Again, it was pretty much a clean, sleek build. So, you know, you don't want to add any like stripes or anything. So, yeah, just keep it none. From there, move on to the mirrors. I went with the stock mirrors. The main reason is, I mean, you don't really need like any kind of other mirrors, because mainly it's just going to either add the primary color or it's going to add carbon mirrors, and the stock mirrors are just like, it's just better off with having it as stock mirrors because it's all one color. And the bottom part is kind of like more black than anything, because if you go to the primary, as you can see, it kind of changes weirdly, which I don't understand, but you know, I would definitely just go with the stock mirrors, in my personal opinion. From there, move on to the plate. You want to go with a blue and white 3, because I think this is about the closest thing you could get for a European or like a London style plate. I could be wrong, and someone please let me know down in the comment section if it is different. But you know, for me, since it was pretty much driven by the entire family, I went with my 1327. There are a bunch of plates. I will probably put those two or a few of them at least on screen that I can find. So yeah, I went with my 1327. I don't think there was any custom plates I noticed. If I did find any, I would definitely put them in the video, but as of right now, I don't really know of any. Same respray for last. We move on to the roof. You want to go to the roof fins, and you just want to go with none. You just want to keep that nice and stock. Didn't have a double. It doesn't like change it to like a bigger fin or whatever. Just keeping it stock is best option. From there, move on to the roof itself. You want to keep the stock roof. You don't want to add any kind of like carbon to it. It was nice and smooth and clean, and you definitely don't want to add any ridges to it either. From there, move on to the skirts. You want to go to the stock skirts for this build because mainly, like I said, for the outside, it was pretty much all stock, I would say. After that, move on to the spoiler. I went with the primary wedge ducktail. Now, the main reason for this is to kind of get like a little lip on the back end, as well as actually giving a little bit of extra traction to the car as well. So the primary wedge ducktail is my best option. I mean, it does look really nice, and it does just kind of blend in and like mix in with the car. I wish the Camaro I did, I think last build, actually had this kind of wing for it, but unfortunately it did not. So the primary wedge ducktail is my best option for this build. After that, move on to the sun strips. You want to go with none. Didn't see any sun strips on the car. Like I said, they didn't put too much detail or information out on these cars, but I did find pictures, and from what I see, there is no sun strip. Pretty much the interior was modified more than the exterior, I would say. After that, move on to the suspension. I want a lowered suspension. I don't think it needs to be like any more than that. It kind of has a decent fitment to it, a decent tuck to the wheels and the rims. And I mean, it just, to the fenders and the wheel size gap, I think it looks just fine. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably keep it stock, or if you really want to push it a little bit more, you could even lower it down to a street. But I mean, it's completely your call. I think that a lower suspension is probably good enough. Like I said, it was probably a stock suspension, I would think, for the most part. But I mean, maybe they did lower it a little bit. It's kind of hard to say. Also, if you go a little bit too far, you're going to start cambering the wheels in. They don't camber too much, but I mean, just a little bit is better than none, I think. I just went with the lower suspension. You can go with whatever you wish. From there, we move on to the turbo. You definitely want to add a turbo. Now, the main reason for this is, and it's kind of weird, Hobbs says something about it being a V8 twin turbo, when I guess in reality the M5s are actually a V10, I believe. Again, I could be wrong, but I mean, that just kind of screams it. Do I hear the turbo, blow off valve, or anything in the movie? No, but I mean, Hobbs did say something about it, and I'll maybe try to find a clip.
Line beamers that people didn't expect.
Hey, the car's a hell of a car. You're talking about twin turbo V8 spitting out 560 ponies, son.
He reads the brochure.
If it's in there, then I'm gonna go for it. I mean, it's up to you if you want to add it or not. From there, move on to the vents. You want to go with the stock vents. You don't want to add any extra vents to it, like different, you know, colored or anything. It doesn't need to be a giant like hole on the front bumper, and it kind of makes the holes on the front bumper a little bit smaller to kind of fit that actual front bumper style. After that, we move on to the wheels. You want to go to wheel type. Now, this is going to be a little weird, but you want to go down to the SUV category. You want to go to the stock rims, and you want to put on the sunrise rims. Now, I know there is another sunrise option, I believe, in the high end or sport, but unfortunately, that makes the entire rim like a kind of chrome-ish kind of look, and then the middle is the color. For the SUV, it actually makes the rim the color, and the actual middle is going to be chrome. Best option in my personal opinion. They are pretty much exactly designed just like this. Unfortunately, they are completely all black. So like the chrome ring around the front and the chrome stripes down the middle of the rims are not there. But I mean, we have the rims in game, so I'm actually going to go for these, even though they have a little bit of chrome on them. So the sunrise rims from the SUV stock category is literally my best option. From there, move on to the wheel color. I'm with the black. I mean, it had black rims, so I'm definitely just go with black. After that, move on to the tires. You want to go to tire design. It didn't have any custom tires, so don't worry about adding that. And for some reason, it kind of deletes a little bit of the tire and it makes the rim stick out more. Kind of weird. So yeah, I would just keep it stock. From there, move on to the tire enhancements. You can add bulletproof tires on if you wish, but I think in the movie they actually got their tires shot out or like damaged or something like that. I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't think that they had like bulletproof tires or like reinflation tires or something like that, or it definitely wasn't drifting. I know that. So I would either go with standard tires, or again, I know it's GT Online, so bulletproof tires is also a very viable option. Completely your call. After that, move on to the tire smoke. You just want to go with the white tire smoke. I don't see a point in changing this. Very rarely do I change it to anything other than white and black. From there, we move on to the windows. You want to go with a nice dark limo tint, mainly because it's kind of really hard to see into the cars. I know they were kind of like a really dark color. So, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably go with something like a dark smoke. But, I mean, for the most part, from like most of the actual clips in the actual movie, can't really see in the cars. So I say just go with the limo, make it nice and dark. And, I mean, why not, right? All right, and I'll see you guys in 2 seconds with a rolled steel primer color. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have my car in my primer out rolled steel. Pretty much what I always do is like a primer type color, so I can actually show you what I do and how I do it, and whether it's a LSC color or a customer crew color. This time, again, it's going to be both. So I'm going to go with the LSC color first. So you want to go to the metallics. You want to go down to the midnight blue, and you want to apply that just like this. Now you're probably thinking that shine is way too bright for this car. You are right. You want to go down to the pearlescence, and the exact pearlescent that I have on my custom crew color is a midnight blue, so you would definitely want to add a midnight blue to it. Now then again, this is a very viable option. For the most part, it will look black at night and a really dark blue during the day, and it is, again, a very viable option. So now we're going to go back to the primary color. We're going to go down to the crew section. So I'll put the hexagon on screen right now for the custom crew color, and you're going to see the color kind of get a little bit lighter. Now you're probably thinking, why would you want it lighter? I don't know. It just kind of looks right, and I matched it with the actual color from one of the pictures. I'll post the picture right now so you can see it. So I kind of matched it with that color there, and this is what it turned out to be. So 3, 2, 1. As you can see, kind of changed a little bit, not too much, a little bit more brightness to it. But I mean, it is still a nice dark blue. And again, I referenced it off of the actual picture, and I just think it looks and works really well. But again, you can use the LSC color custom midnight blue with the midnight blue pearlescent, works really well. And I think it is an actual viable option. So just like the LSC color, you want to go to pearlescence, and you want to make sure it is a midnight blue. So you want to have a nice dark blue color to it, because in the light, it'll look more blue, but in the dark, it'll look more black or look like a black color. And then you just want to do the same exact thing. So if you went with the LSC color or the secondary color, then just go with the midnight blue for that. Otherwise, put on the crew color, just go down here, just like this. Also, the pearlescent is not going to kind of spoil over or like kind of merge onto the actual like the car or the actual mirrors and everything, and kind of make it look pretty bad. That's the nice thing about the midnight blue with this custom crew color. And I mean, the LSC color actually works really well with that too. So from there, move on to the trim color. You want to go with the graphite. If you really wanted to, you could paint it black. Completely lyrical if you want to spend a little bit more money. But I mean, it's dark enough as is. I mean, graphite is almost black, and I just don't really see a point in changing it personally. After that, move on to the accent color. I went with an ice white. Now, the main reason for this is because, as you can see, it's the dials, and I want to be able to actually see the dials as best as possible. So I kind of went with an ice white. I don't really know what the dials actually look like, because I don't think they actually showed the dials in the actual movie like they used to back in like Fast and Furious 1 or 2, or I think they did in Tokyo Drift too, but I'm not sure exactly. So it's kind of hard to go for. If it's something else and someone else let me know about it or post a picture or any kind of reference, I'll definitely change it. But as of right now, I'm just going with ice white. And that is it. That's how you recreate the 2010 BMW E60 M5 from Fast and Furious 6. The car that I guess Hobbs gave to Dom and his entire team to drive in London. Kind of a crazy car. I mean, it actually looked really cool. A lot of people, I think, are fans of the car. Maybe just BMW in general. But, I mean, I think it turned out really nice. Again, I'll try to go outside. Maybe it'll be dark outside or light outside. Who knows? So let's go back to our parking spot real quick. Alright, so we're outside. I'm going to do a little spin for you guys outside in the dark, so you guys can actually see it in the dark and in the light, because I will actually do a little transition at the end. But as you can see, for the most part, it does look, I would say, relatively black. But then in certain lighting, you can kind of see the blue kind of shine through. If you add like the filter like they had in the movie, you could definitely see it. Alright, as you can see, the car in the daylight actually changes color. A little bit more black, actually, now. You can kind of see the blue more at night. Kind of interesting, it kind of swaps back and forth. But, I mean, overall, I think it did turn out great. And I'm just kind of curious what you guys think. There you go. Let's go for a little bit of a drive. Not gonna lie, this car is actually pretty fast. Well, as I hit a pole back there. But yeah, it took me a while to actually figure out the custom crew color for this thing, and again, I still think the viable option, again, is still Midnight Blue with Midnight Blue Pearlescent if you want to use the LC colors. But you know me, I'm really happy and proud of my custom crew colors that I create, so, you know, I thought I would put that in there too. And I mainly use them because, I mean, I created them, so why not, right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down in the comment section down below for what build you would like to see next. It can be anything from a game, a movie, or even real life. I'll take a crack at it, or I'll even let you guys know if I can or cannot build it. I always love interacting with you guys down in the comment section down below, as well as on Twitter or anywhere else you contact me, even on Discord. Also, links for Discord, Twitter, and the crew are down in the description below, so feel free to join them. They are free joining. I don't have any request to actually join it. You can actually just join it free of charge. I think that's pretty much going to be it for the video, so I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for all the love and support. Thanks for all watching the video till the very end. Show you the color real quick again. It's kind of like bipolar. It doesn't know what it wants to be, if it wants to be blue or if it wants to be black. Anyways, like I said, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the love and support, as always. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. I'll catch you guys later, and I'm out. Peace.